I have redone this video multiple times because it kind of proves the point that I'm going to be making today. Short form content leads to short form thoughts, short form opinions, short form emotions, short form, judgments that you have on people. It's because, for the same reason that I keep on restarting this video, is because I'm like, nope, that's not good enough. Nope, that's not good enough. Nope, that's not good enough. I'm losing the viewers' attention. I'm losing people's attention by the minute, by the second, and it is making my brain go freaking crazy. Okay, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has ever experienced this, because we have become more and more content brained. We have become these content demons that have to constantly think about the algorithm, constantly think about how people are consuming the content that we're putting out. Am I turning somebody off of something? Am I engaging somebody in this content? Is this video's intro good enough? Since 2020, I have become very much more and more attached to this part of my brain that tells me all the ways to best optimize the content that I'm putting out there, all the ways best to engage the audience, all the ways to do everything. I work for a doctor here in town. I have grown his TikTok to millions of followers. I think he's at like 3 or 4 million right now. And millions of views later, one thing that I have, taught myself is how to do what I'm talking about, how to engage the viewer, how to keep them engaged in a short form context. And it is carried over to my music promotion. It's the reason that I made this YouTube channel in the first place, is to give you guys my insight on that world and how I promote music and how I kind of like approach it. And now the YouTube channel has kind of turned more into like a mindset, thought dump, which I hope you guys still get value out of. But over these past 5 years, I've become so aware, self-aware, and just aware of the world around me, of the internet and how it changes, and even in generations that I'm not even attached to. Like, I'm become so chronically online that I know even like what Skibbity Toilet is, and the lore, and a plethora of other things that like the way that they talk, the way that they act, or whatever. And it's a lot of it is brain rot. A lot of it is don't even making a lot of sense. But it's like I have to know, because that's like the next generation. I have to like stay locked in so that I can promote whatever it is in the future. I know kind of like what the audience is doing and everything. And that's what we have to do on a daily basis. That's what we have to do as people who are marketing their music or trying to build a brand or whatever the case may be, right? If you are trying to get into the online space and promote something online, you need to know what the world looks like and how the world operates that you're trying to enter. And since then, over the past 5 years, obviously we got TikTok. Obviously, we've gotten the For You style feed to work with. And that has been a benefit and a detriment to a lot of people's approaches to marketing. It gives a lot of small artists and small creators the chance to really get out there. Even on YouTube here, I can see videos that will catch my attention, and I'll give creators a chance that only have 50 to 100 views on a video. Maybe this is one of the ones that showed up in your recommended feeds, and you get the opportunity to reach an audience, right? And we used to not have that. It used to all be about like the big creators and everything. But the thing is that if you're trying to feed content to so many different people with so many different types of things that they would be interested in, you can't, there's only a finite amount of videos from these big creators that you can feed them. So you have to feed them smaller creators content in order to, feed this desire to see more content, to get that more of that dopamine that they're looking for. What's cool about YouTube in, opposition of like something like a TikTok or Instagram Reels, though, is that it's all pretty much long form content, and you can look at the title and the thumbnail and decide whether or not you want to click on it. With TikTok, it's very different. You just get it up in your face and you either interact with it or you swipe. And this has created that short form thoughts and short form judgments that we have kind of embraced. And it's unfortunate because, I look at humans as much more nuanced than just something that I immediately see swipe on my TikTok. It's kind of like Tinder in a way, like where you're like, oh, not attractive, swipe, not attractive, swipe, I'm not attracted, swipe. And you don't even give that person a chance necessarily. That person could have all the things that, you like, as their interest or whatever. You could have a lot in common. You can have something else that you're looking for in a person, right? But you swiped because of the first impression, right? And that's really all TikTok is. I mean, like, you get a view, right? A view is them looking at it for literally 1 second. And it's really not even a view. It's like more like an impression, right? Hey, we showed it to 250 people, but that doesn't mean that those, and this is usually why people end up in the 250 view jail on TikTok, is because everybody swiped. Like, you had 250 people view your content, right? But they swiped on it because it didn't grab their attention enough, or, they didn't like the way that you looked, or whatever the case may be. Now, you keep on doing it, you keep on posting, it'll eventually find your audience, and your audience, is going to be your audience. There's not a, that's why people tell you to niche down, which we talked about on the last video, about how the reasons why they tell you to niche down, right? And it's for those same reasons. You can find an audience. There's an audience out there for you, but you just have to find them. And it could be very small. It could be a very small niche of people, but there is somebody out there for you, and they're going to be just like on Tinder, like there's going to be somebody for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be, the audience that you're looking for necessarily. Not even close. So, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, what my point is on this is that we judge people very quickly, right? And, it's changed the way that we even view music. I mean, like, the way that people make music today is, well, usually if they're going to be promoting on TikTok, it's about those 15, 30 seconds at most of music. It has to be a catchy hook, or, they say something interesting that it's like, oh, okay, like most of the thought process went into this 15 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever. This is the TikTok spot. This is the spot where you're like, oh, this has a cool drop, let's throw it in here. This has a cool lyric, let's throw it in here. This would work good in a TikTok, a short little nugget of a sample of what the music should sound like. And then people go stream it a bunch, and, because people are using it in their videos, they're like, what is this? And they go stream it, and it becomes a popular song. But I mean, even like, like a Doja Cat song can have like a really catchy part, right? And then you're like, man, I don't even know what the rest of that song sounds like. I only know the 15 seconds that it showed me, right? I mean, that is what has happened to music, and the reason why people approach it that way. Even I have found myself approach it that way as well, and I don't even think that it's even that big of a deal. Honestly, like I said, I'm not much of a hipster when it comes to music and stuff like that. So it is what it is, but it's just another form of like people will have to have something that they instantly judge about somebody's song. Even it doesn't even have to do with the short form content necessarily, but even the song itself, like they will judge it. They will judge it even if it looks like you're selling something. You know, like if you're selling your song to an audience, then that is going to, maybe turn somebody off. So, because they're surrounded by ads already, anyway. But, I mean, it also kind of like leads into like this short form, mindset also leads in the way that we approach relationships even. I feel like online relationships especially, if like these people that you're communicating with online, it's very easy to drop them. I know that we have seen a huge rise in like cancel culture and things like that. And I'm not saying that none of that is valid or anything like that. There's definitely like cases when it comes to that are very serious and should be taken very seriously. But this short form judgment that we have, that we've created for ourselves over the past 5 years and maybe even beyond that, it has carried over into how we judge people's actions, either from the present or from the past, and there is no room for nuance. There is only a black and white picture of what you see in front of you. And so it has led into the way that we judge and approach relationships online, and judge and approach how we view people in general online, and it's one of those things where like there's no empathy either. Like if somebody is, let's say somebody posts something, that may be a little bit awkward or whatever like that, online, like some short form content, maybe they're promoting a song or something like that. I see this a lot on Instagram Reels. I mean, they will get so many views and comments, and it's all it is just people just roasting them. Just people like dogging on these artists, just trying to, make a name for themselves. And listen, I mean, yeah, it can be cringe. Yeah, it can be awkward. Yeah, it can be bad music, but like nobody has like room for nuance. There's nobody like in those comments that's like, hey man, I see what you're trying to do here. Hey, try this, I think this could work out better for you, or whatever the case may be. No, all it is just people roasting and trying to get that top comment that everybody's laughing at and thinks is funny. It's like watching every single piece of content is like watching gladiators go at it, right? And it's just like, these aren't real people. They're like out there killing themselves literally, and we're just like, that's funny, that's cringe or whatever, let me share it with my friends. And I've even done this a lot especially on Instagram Reels. I'm just like, this is so funny, like this person is so awkward or whatever the case may be, and it makes you feel better about yourselves and your own content, and so you share it over to your friend, and you have all a good laugh and everything. But like, these are real people, and because we've gotten so used to this short form judgment and this short form, I don't know, just lack of empathy that we have, this lack of nuance, lack of perspective, it has led to a much meaner world. Like, I mean, maybe 10 years ago when you would have trolls, like you had trolls still, right? But like, it was like a certain sector of people that were trolls. Now it feels like even I'm a troll. Even my friends are trolls. Everybody around me has this like troll inside of them, because let's say, hey, don't get it twisted. If you go onto one of those posts and you don't comment something, but you're sharing it and you're laughing about it or whatever, you're kind of in the same realm, And I think it is just like this like weird, I don't know. The internet has become the safest that it's ever been because of niches and these little communities, to the worst it's ever been, and the meanest, most mean that it's ever been, because of the how open we are and accepting we are of bad behavior. It's actually kind of crazy because it's like you can have somebody on reels and they post genuine content, like them promoting their song or whatever the case may be. They're not acting, they're just literally just being themselves, and we're like, that's bad content. But this person down here, roasting them, that is good content. That's the world we live in. That is the world online that we live in. And what's crazy, not really that crazy, let's be honest, we've been talking about this for a long time. You can go outside and the people will not act that way. People do not act that way in real life. So at any point, we can turn off the smartphone, we can turn off the social media, we can go outside and we can talk to real people, and they don't act like that. Out in the real world, we have empathy. Out in the real world, we don't have this short form judgment that we have online. Out in the real world, we're normal. It's so weird, man. It is so, oh, wow, yeah. Because, like, when you think about it, like, it used to not be this way. You would go online, and there was an anonymous factor to it, right? But there was, like, it's not even that there was a sense of accountability. There was just like, hey, I don't know. Am I crazy for thinking that it used to be nicer online? I don't know. I don't. I don't know. I think I'm going to end the video here, guys. If you guys had, some value that you got out of this, I'm glad. Let me know down in the comments and everything, and we'll talk on the next video. Let me know what you guys want to talk about in the next video too. Maybe that'll give me some ideas, but this was just what was going on in my mind. I know a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about has been around social media and, the current state that it's in. I think it's just because that's what I've been dealing with lately, and I'm trying to find a way around it. I'm trying to find some solution to it, because it has really been affecting me lately. Like, I'm very aware of how much it's affecting me, and I'm trying to find a solution. So if you guys know a solution, let me know down in the comments. If not, that's fine too. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace out.